All right, we have all kinds of questions that come about CBD. CBD's been around now for about a decade in the mainstream. It's been legal across the U.S. for the last several years. And now the question is, how do we board it? What do we do with it? Well, we're going to ask Danny because, well, that's what Danny knows. Why isn't that playing? All right, never mind. Well, I was trying to play the Five with Danny theme song, but
Five with Danny. Do we have a new theme song? Like a new
we should do a new theme song. That means I have to actually write something.
No, same thing, just like a different voice. Have you ever seen like Sons of Anarchy? They've got like the same intro, but it's a different
intro, yeah, and do a different. Well, yeah, that's it. We could. I mean, there are other
different version of it, basically.
Give somebody and say, "Hey, do a hip hop version."
Ooh,
all right.
Nappy Root.
I don't know why it didn't play. It says I have it pre-programmed and not playing live, not doing. Now it's playing. All right. Well, we're recording, and I have to edit all this out anyway. So, all right, Danny, are you ready to tell us how in the world CBD can be boarded with PaperTech and what our partners should be listening to and learning about CBD to make sure it goes smoothly in the process?
Absolutely.
Sir, it's all yours.
I've learned a lot about this space really in the last 12 months. Obviously, a lot of us have heard about it. If you've been in the industry and you haven't heard about the CBD rush, you're living under a rock, right? Everybody's talking about it. How can I board it? Where can I board it? What do I need to do? How can I make it easier on the merchants? There's all these questions, and only a few people have answers, but it's becoming more and more prevalent in our industry that these merchants are building, they're not going anywhere, and they need a place to process payments. So we've recently partnered with First Fresno, as you all know. Up to this point, we've been pretty standoffish on CBD, right? Topical only, which represents about 2% of the CBD market. These are lotions and bath bombs and things like that. So we were really just grabbing a fraction of the CBD market share that was out there. Introducing our new sponsor bank, First Fresno, has now opened up a ton of doors with a lot of different merchant category codes that include CBD ingestible, which is the majority of the CBD market, right? So now any merchant that sells CBD products, whether it's just one of their many SKUs, think of a vape store that may have, or a tobacco store, for example, that may have CBD on its shelf, or Nate's CBD outlet, right? And that's all they sell is CBD, retail CBD card present sales. Regardless if it's 1% or 100% of their sales, we can board it and we can consider it through First Fresno. Now, we may need some additional information depending on ticket sizes and things like that. Recently ran into a CBD wholesaler that we had to work through on some additional financials, but that I think that's pretty rare, right? When we're talking your basic retail merchant, this is going to be underwritten like any retail merchant that we do and not scrutinized through this new sponsor bank that we've got. So that's really good, make it really easy for you to board these merchants that sell these products. Then we get into the CBD card not present Modo e-commerce scenario, and that's a little bit deeper. We're going to have to pre-vet those, meaning send us a website, right? Let us take a look at it and let us make sure that they're not selling additional prohibited products. A lot of these merchants that sell CBD also sell products like Delta 8 and Kratom. These are a big no-no in the processing world, and they're really almost impossible to get approval for. We can't board these merchants. So we're going to look at that, especially on those card present merchants. But beware, even on those card present merchants, the retail merchants, we're going to take a look at everything online. We want to see their social media pages, their websites if they got them, even Yelp reviews and things like that. We want to make sure that if these merchants are selling CBD products, that they're not selling any of these other prohibited products. The Delta 8s, the Kratoms, they're everywhere. And that's going to keep us from getting these boarded. So if you've got some merchants that have started selling these products and maybe started adding Delta 8 and Kratom, they're going to need to remove those from their offerings if we can board them, right? They're going to need to remove them from their websites, from their social media pages, remove the products from selling, because we're just not going to be able to approve those. If you got any questions, though, let me help you. This is a new space, but we can do a lot of it.
Like we said in one of the recent high fives, one of the things you can do is ask the questions ahead of time and reach out ahead of time. Make sure that if you're not 100%, ask your RM and ask them to get connected with Danny. Danny's becoming the expert in this, helping you understand how to make sure that your CBD merchants can be boarded with PaperTech, have a great experience. Danny, we should always make sure we add at the end, because then people are going to start wanting to talk about cannabis. That's always the next piece. That is not, where are we now with cannabis?
Cannabis is actually off our radar right now. So we were in a beta test for PIN debit only in both recreational and medical cannabis sales, trying to see how we could get it done. And really, after about 3 weeks of a beta test, we dropped the program. So just not sure that that's going to be on our radar in the future. As it says right now, we are off limits of cannabis.
So bring us all your CBD, and we're thankful to work with you. Thanks so much. Thanks, Danny. Make sure that you continue listening. We're going to bring these weekly to you. So make sure you're subscribed, whatever podcast place you live. If you're on Apple Podcasts, give us a little review, a little shout out. That always makes us really happy, helps us grow a little bit and get a couple more listens and views. Thanks so much for listening or watching, and we'll see you next time on 5 with Dan.
Let's sell some.